All right, Ethan Knight here. This is Adrian Gonzalez. This is Ryan Adams on the bottom, Baltimore Orioles major leaguer, working in the facility there. The things I'm going to point out, Ethan, were evident on all of your swings, not just this one. As a matter of fact, this was, a very well hit ball that you hit. Okay. As we play it through here, Ethan, your overall pattern is very good. You've got a very good overall throw-like pattern to where you're off the back and behind the front. You've got pretty good hands through the ball. There's rhythm to what you do. There's a good negative or loading phase, and then you do really attack the ball. So we do have that good, positive phase. So there's a lot of good things going on there. There's rhythm, there's fluidity. It's one fluid movement. The back leg is loading and driving. You're not forcing spin back there. It's a powerful move at the ball. Again, you're off the back. You're off the back side. And we've got some degree of leverage here. We're going to try to improve upon that, but you are behind the front. And then as we look at our professionals here, that really is kind of the dichotomy of hitting is to be off of this back side. As you look at Adrian there, the back foot sliding, but then yet he is tilted or leveraged behind the front. So again, we're off the back, but behind the front side here. And really the foundation that we want to work off of, you do pretty well, is that the swing is one fluid, throwing motion in the sense that we back and attack, and it's one fluid throwing action. There's not a discernible pause or disruption in what we're trying to do. So, the overall pattern is very good. Ethan, you should go and pull up the student DVD video from my YouTube channel to look at some of this stuff in more detail, other examples of other big league players doing the things I'm going to point out. But again, when I look at a swing, I look at three primary areas. What the back arm is doing, how that's moving to throw the barrel, what the back leg is doing, essentially loading and unloading. How is it performing that? Are we forcing spin with the back leg? Are we unloading into the front side before the heel drops? And then the third thing is really the front side. Did we establish a strong, stable front side, like a wall to hit behind on that front side? Okay, so back arm, back leg, front side. Back arm, back leg, front side. Alright, Ethan, so we'll look for some things we need to work on here. We'll start off with the back leg. Again, the back leg has two simple things. Again, go study that student DVD. The back leg, simply, we have to load that back leg, and when the foot comes up, the back leg is loaded. Okay, so your foot's off the ground, the back leg is loaded. It has to load, and then it's going to press sideways, or it should press sideways to unload. And overall, you're doing that. In other words, when you lift your foot, the back leg is loaded, and then you unload, or you begin to unload before that heel drops. There's good pressing action before the heel drops. So you're getting good drive out of your back leg. One little thing we may want to look at, as you load up, and it's a little bit hard to tell here, but it looks like on some of them you might be straightening that back knee just a little bit. That back knee shouldn't have a whole lot of activity, shouldn't be moving a whole lot in terms of getting outside the foot or straightening. So make sure that back knee just stays bent there. But there's good sideways move there into the front side. You can see both of your feet are sideways there. That's not bad. Okay? And that really is all we're looking for from the back leg, is get it loaded before release, unload it when the ball's about halfway there, and unload it before that heel drops sideways into the ball. And you can see when both of you land again, the feet are not spinning. Both feet, should still be straight ahead. Okay, so that kind of takes us to the front side. And you can see, Ethan, your front side, you kind of start closed. You can see where your toe is here. But then that first move is to kind of take that foot outside and open up. you know, in terms of, the height of your stride, I think is real good. Adrian's is, a little higher than I would recommend. This is what I teach down here is what Ryan's using is it doesn't need to be that high. But we've got to get to where you're moving straight ahead with that foot, and we're keeping it a little more square. That's too much bailout and too much opening. So again, we really want that front leg and really that whole front side, that wall on the front side, we're trying to get to land the same way that it starts, meaning the front foot is square, the knee is flexed but firm when we start, and that's how we really want to land. If you look at Adrian here, the knee is bent but firm. Okay, the foot is square. Okay, you can see how open we are there. Again, if you look at Ryan down here, we really want to feel like that back leg pulls it up, okay, and the back leg puts it down. So we just get the back leg ready. That's going to bring the foot up. And when the back leg presses or attacks, that's going to put it down in basically the same position, that we started in, a square, bent but firm position. Okay, so that's that's just entirely too much opening out of that front foot. Okay, and we've got to get rid of some of that activity. Just that doesn't need to be. You've kind of got that as kind of your first move at the ball is to open up and flare the foot. Okay, so we've got to get that corrected. Okay, so again, back leg, real simple. Pulls up, puts down. You look good there. Might be a little bit of straightening out of that knee, and then the front foot opening up there into that front side. Okay, got to correct those two things. Okay, lastly, really, the back arm, top hand, that really does control, the throwing pattern and the path of the barrel. Whatever that top hand does, the barrel's going to follow it. And so, overall, you've got a good loading or lifting of the elbow there, Ethan. It really is good. It's higher than I would teach, or it's a little higher than I would see out of people. You come from a really, really high position there. But you've got, there's good arm action there. The elbow lifts and works up. We may look at adjusting that, but I've always liked the rhythm that you've had in your hands. There's a good loading pattern there, but we may need to adjust that. The biggest flaw we've got here is as that elbow begins to slot in, all three of these shots are in the same position, well, all four of you. As the elbow begins to work in to the ball, the professional hitter keeps that top hand is still out towards the pitcher, which is going to leave the barrel in this position. Okay, your barrel is in this position, your top hand, and it's because of the position of that top hand. That top hand goes up, and that's going to put the barrel in that flat, heavy position. Okay, that's just, and then as we take it one more frame, and you're even flatter there. It also looks like this wrist is kind of cupped over or out, which isn't really where we want to be. We always want those wrists extended, not flexed or cupped. But this bat position, Ethan, we've got to fix that. Okay, it's making you swing too long, and it's making the barrel heavier than it needs to be. Okay, I really think this is mainly just a function of hand position. We can get a little bit more hand awareness. We may be able to, to address it. Bottom line is we've got to be able to load, which is really lifting of the long bone of the upper arm, and then slot the elbow to the ball while keeping that barrel up, keeping the bat in a better position than we are here. Okay, and kind of touch back on the front side again a little bit. I kind of was stressing on the front foot, but we also need to keep better tilt of the upper body there. As you go through, you create some decent tilt there, really more with the legs, but but the upper body's coming forward more than it needs to. We need to be more back here behind the front side, not leaking quite so much with the upper. And those two things, the tilt of the torso and the position of the bat, actually go hand in hand. Long story short, actually tilting more helps you keep that stacked barrel longer. So again, we want that back arm. The throwing pattern is very simple. If you watch Adrian here, the elbow works up, the elbow works to the ball, the hand is still, at shoulder height. When you're right here, and even your hands, even though you start them very high, we may adjust that a little bit. Once you go to launch the barrel at the ball, the heel drops, the back leg is worked, the heel is dropped, your hands are going to be about shoulder height. So we may try to work on trying to keep your hands maybe a little lower and see what that does. But regardless, we've got to get our hands in a better position here. So the elbow works up, the elbow works to the ball, and then that top hand or that top arm is going to throw out contact, and then that hand gets over the top. You can see how our professionals' hands are already over the top here, within a couple of frames of contact, and you're hanging on to it there, Ethan. You're kind of pulling that hand around the corner. You don't want to. You can see your lead elbow here, kind of bending and pulling around the corner. If you look at our professional, see how that lead arm stays longer and the hands snap over. And that lead arm stays longer. They're not trying to pull the bat around the corner with that lead arm. Okay, so if you'll just let that top hand, your left hand, finish the good throwing action. Okay, you throw from here, contact, and then throw it over the top. And let those hands finish working right through contact. You'll be in better position there. Okay, so again, some things to work on there. Good overall pattern, but we've got to get our bat in a better position when we go to launch than we're in here. Okay, better tilt. Okay, better top hand position and more square on this front side.